sure as the sun is beginning to set behind me on what is an exceptionally beautiful evening tonight, your favorite stars from Descendants of Zombies have held a very special place in my heart for quite some time. For the better part of 10 years, I've shared a story with you about how I became a fan of Descendants of Zombies, which had everything to do with all of you, and how passionate you felt about people like Kylie Cantrell and Malia Baker, who were some of the strongest people I have ever seen in my life. And because I thought they were some of the strongest people I've ever seen in my life, I myself have become a stronger person. We all together have become stronger people, a stronger niche. People who support each other all the time. People who become the best of friends because we saw value in the friendships of Kylie and Malia, who were there for each other every step of the way because we love their stories so much. Stories about love, passion, friendship, everything all in the one, thrown together. To create a really beautiful story that may have only lasted 90 minutes, but how can you tell a story and complete it in just under 90 minutes? The answer to that question is you never could. So because you never could tell a story in under 90 minutes, there has to be a new chapter. And one should have known at the conclusion of The Rise of Red, we would have gotten to the point where Wicked Wonderland would have happened, where they will now face the consequences of time travel after their time-traveling adventure. What will that new adventure and this new chapter detail? It remains to be seen, but I'm just excited to be a part of it like all of you. We know that Red and Chloe may have created a new supervillain. We have no idea who it is. We know Red has a new sister. Her name is Pink, played by Leomani Segura. And this brand new storyline is setting up for probably a passing of the torch moment, but the thing is, we don't know what that torch that has yet to be passed is really going to look like with all these new characters coming into this franchise for what will be for many of them the first time ever. And that presents a lot of doubt and certainly a lot of uncertainty in the minds of a lot of fans, creative writers, people who review this kind of thing, journalists such as myself, but I've never really had any doubt because I'm just like all of you. And every single time that I ever push record, what makes these videos so fun is I'm speaking from the perspective of a fan, which I think is the most dedicated thing to do because it shows more heart and more passion every single time that you do. Because you can choose to just come on here and tell people what you think is going to happen in Descendants of Zombies, but in all reality, nobody's ever going to subscribe to that. It's better you come on here and talk about the chances of a zombie apocalypse happening or an alien invasion, because you will have more believers in those theories than you will ever giving a prediction when it comes to Descendants of Zombies, because of how I told stories about how I feel very passionate about things that involves all Disney characters, their stories. It's really fun having the chance to experience this with all of you. As many of you know, I grew up in a very different generation of Disney. It was referred to as the Disney Renaissance era. And that was the era we saw all these original characters make their premieres like The Lion King, Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, and so on. And they went on to become some of the most honored and celebrated characters of all time, voiced by Jodie Benson and Peggy O'Hare and Mandy Moore. And I really believe that that was an era that we will never return to. But even with how that was an era we will never return to for how legendary the characters were from that generation, the Disney Renaissance era, these characters are well on their way to becoming legendary themselves. Because this is a generation that I would have loved to have the chance to grow up within and to have had the chance to experience with all of you. Because many of you probably would have became my best friends. Many of you would have been the ones I tell everything to like I am now. And it really would have made my life worth living. Because what I've done over the last 25 years pales in comparison to what I've experienced because of Descendants of Zombies. You guys allowed me the opportunity to become a part of something so special and sharing stories of Kylie and Ruby, who were so close with each other. They were really the best of friends. I don't think there was a single moment they never took a selfie of each other and posted it on social media to keep us in what I refer to as the informative loop. But because we're being kept in the informative loop, that doesn't give us a right to criticize their friendship and what we think it's worth. I don't think there's any price tag on anybody's happiness, and if they see happiness in being friends with each other for their entire lives, for their very existence, I think we can find time in appreciating that. We shouldn't create these ridiculous rumors that we often post and see all the time on social media. We should really find time in appreciating their friendships. We should really find time in appreciating them for the beautiful souls that they are. And that's why I create these videos, to really put it out there that I am a fan and supporter of Descendants of Zombies, much like all of you. Now, I know there are people out there that know everything there is to know about their favorite stars and the futures of these franchises. You've heard all the rumors and all the predictions. But again, what makes the future so special and something to be excited about is we never seem to know what the future has in store, because if we did, the future wouldn't be as exciting as it seems. Because as the Wizards of Waverly Place TV series often told us, everything is not always what it seems. So I think that that same logic can be applied to Descendants of Zombies. So when you read a rumor that may have happened between Kylie and Malia last summer at the Worlds Collide Tour, everything is not really what it seems, because they are really, when the cameras are turned off, still the best of friends and so dedicated to each other as they may have been over 2 years ago. I think pretty much that's people trying to stir the conversation up a little bit, and I've always believed in their friendship, and I've always found time in supporting them. And if I was ever going to say anything at all, it was going to have to be something nice about your favorite stars. I always wanted to be a part of these conversations, but I wanted to be a part of these conversations in a really positive way, because there are far too many people out there that will say things like they don't like Nova Bright's costume in Zombies 5, or they don't like the new characters or the names of the characters or the costume choices that were made by the creative designers. I, for one, believe the costumes for, say, Zombies 5 are really beautiful. I also think the costumes for Descendants 5 are really beautiful and should be given a chance. Because if you can give a chance to the costumes from the 2024 release, you can give just as much of a chance to the costumes from the 2026 release. There's only a 2-year gap in between these releases. For Zombies 4 and Zombies 5, there's also going to be a 2-year gap. So, it doesn't really allow for much to be updated, but we can give more of a chance than we probably ever have with time. Because as time passes, I think there are going to be more people who are going to really appreciate Descendants of Zombies and what they have become, what they really evolved into, and have a greater appreciation to take away from these franchises every single time. The way I've always chosen to look at these stories and tell these stories is that every single time you watch Descendants of Zombies, you feel as if you're left in a state of amazement, left at a loss for words, because you feel as if you're watching it for the first time ever. And that's what makes these franchises so special. For me, not just myself, but a lot of people out there who feel the same way, who have obviously felt closer to these franchises than ever before, have obviously felt connected to their favorite characters and their stories. The one thing I always found consistent about Descendants of Zombies was the exemplification of friendships and how much further friendships can take people in this lifetime. Like how Red and Chloe may have never been the best of friends, but when they eventually became friends, they wanted to stay friends for forever. And no matter who we are watching this video, we all have that one best friend that we tell everything to, we call every night, we call just to check up with and check in on, and we tell everything to them because we trust them. We develop a bridge of trust. And that bridge of trust, in order to be crossed, has to remain intact for forever. And that's why people become friends and stay friends for their entire lives. It doesn't happen for every single one of us, because sometimes we have trust issues or this or that happening for us, but we always have that one friend who kind of just comes along from out of nowhere, out of the blue, just as fast as you can snap your fingers, that you always feel connected to, and you always find time in appreciating, that you never want to let go of, that you never want to say goodbye to. And that's what we see with Red and Chloe, is their friendship is just so incredibly beautiful and so enthralling. And that's what's made this new take on the Descendants franchise so special. There are rumors circulating online also that they're going to have their own duet, like Space Between, for Sophia Carson and Dove Cameron's characters Mal and Evie from Descendants 2. While that remains to be confirmed, there is a beautiful ballad that Red is going to be singing, like a Dove Cameron if only kind of ballad from the original Descendants back in 2015. It may have taken 10 years, but I for one believe that Kylie Cantrell's ballad is going to outdo Dove Cameron's, because of how powerful of a person Kylie Cantrell is kind of metamorphosized into. She is stronger than ever before. She's always looking stronger. She's feeling comfortable in her own skin. So how can we not find time in appreciating that? I think no matter who we are, we found time in appreciating Kylie Cantrell for the individual she is. Obviously, she has very different points of view. She's been very vocal on those very different points of view, but she doesn't deserve to be criticized for how she feels. Because, as I've said many times, that's what presents diversity. That's what makes the world different, is because if everybody felt the same way, the world would be a pretty boring place. If I were to stop talking and we were to think about it for a brief moment, the world would be a pretty boring place if everybody felt the same and everybody had the same opinions. But again, that's what makes this life worth living. That's what makes the world so special and allows it to revolve on its axis and never stop or never cease to exist, is because everybody feels different. We shouldn't choose to judge people because of how they feel. We should more so give them a chance. And I wish more people would give Kylie that chance, because they've started up a lot of rumors about why she backed out of the Worlds Collide Tour, why she's not going to be a part of this project moving forward. She has a lot happening for her. And I think we can really find time in appreciating her for the person she is. So too can we find time in appreciating the person that Freya Sky is, because her music is beautiful, and the one thing I've often appreciated about Freya is how she's putting such beautiful lyrics to beautiful melodies. No matter what song we can talk about, Freya is putting beautiful lyrics to beautiful melodies, and I found time in really appreciating her for the person that she is, because these songs were never referring to her. They were always trying to relate to somebody who may have been going through something similar, about being ghosted or having a boyfriend they could never make sense of in a relationship that kind of went astray. The thing about Freya's music is it makes you feel connected to it. It makes you feel important. It makes you feel special. And I think we see the same kind of messages in Kylie Control's music, which may have been very different because her opinion on men have definitely varied over time and is very different from how they may feel about her. But again, that's what makes her the person that she is, and we shouldn't judge her for the person that she's come out on the other side of the story for having been. She's kind of just coming of age. She's becoming a stronger person. And I don't know about you guys, but I really found time in appreciating that, because I know there are a lot of Kylie Control fans out there, Kylie Control's people, watch these videos. So I've really found time in appreciating Kylie for the person that she is and who she has become. I wouldn't have it any other way. And if I were Kylie Control's best friend, I would find time in appreciating that for the person that she is, who she is, because she's feeling comfortable in her own skin. And yes, she still has a long way to go. So rather than drawing conclusions and feeling like we should start up all these rumors about what Kylie has happening for her, I think we can show her more undeniable love and support than perhaps ever before, and we can do the same thing for Freya Sky, because as I just said, we still have a long way to go. And no matter how you feel about these stars, they are some of the greatest that Disney has ever produced. I've seen them from the very beginning. I've watched it through. I've seen this through from the very beginning to its end, and I look forward to being a part of it when it does reach its conclusion, which is a long way away from ever happening, because I'm so excited to see what will become of all these stars in a very bright future that I see them having, and I look forward to celebrating with all of you. I think that this franchise is full of so many dedicated fans, and they are forever supportive of who and what they love, and I found time in encouraging that. I found time in supporting that through my reviews of the dolls, my reviews of the music videos, my reviews of the trailers. I've done everything that I could possibly ever have done for these franchises, because I saw potential from within these franchises, shining out from within these franchises, that led us to becoming a part of something so special that we've never ever wanted to let go of, that we've always kind of wanted to sort of embrace. And ever since embracing these franchises, we've always and forever took something special away from them. And I've loved being a part of these stories with all of you. I've loved sharing in my story about how I became a fan, and hearing your stories from your side of the story about how you became a fan of Descendants of Zombies and really discovered and fell in love with its power. Because it really is a powerful franchise, and I think powerful is one of the best ways of ever describing these franchises for what they were truly worth and what they represented. Kindness, love, passion, a whole bunch of things thrown in one big cauldron to create one magic spell that was casted on all of us that made us fall in love with these franchises for the exemplification of friendship, power, passion, everything all in the one. And I've loved being a part of it. I really feel like the best way for me to describe this is having fallen down through that proverbial rabbit hole. And ever since falling down through that proverbial rabbit hole, I can't help but love this franchise more and more with each passing day. And as time passes, I have the chance to meet more people and share in their stories about what led them to the moment where they realized, hey, being a fan of Descendants of Zombies was cool, because there's never been anything wrong with being a fan of Descendants of Zombies. You guys know that, right? You certainly appreciated people like me who talk about Descendants of Zombies, and I can never seem to say thank you enough. So I'd like to say in the final few moments I have right before the sun sets this evening, thank you so much for all the love and support that you've shown these videos, because I wouldn't be sitting in this chair tonight behind this microphone if never for any of you. You guys have always taken something special away from every video I've shared my thoughts in with you guys on, and I've loved you from the very first moment that I talked about Descendants of Zombies with all of you, because I simply believed that you guys deserve the best. Never quit on yourselves. Always believe in your dreams and your passions and continue on following them, and never let anybody steer you in the wrong direction or tell you any differently. Because there's only forever and always only going to be one you, and that's what's made this entire experience so wonderful for all of us, is that we had the chance to share in this together and experience Descendants of Zombies for its true worth, which went on to be more than we ever imagined possible to each and every one of our hearts. because undeniably these stories and these characters will forever hold a very special place in all of our hearts, and we all have the chance to be a part of something so special. So from my heart to yours, thank you so much for having chosen this YouTube channel every single time, if never at least once, as your favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel. And as always, from my heart to yours, thank you so much on this beautiful evening, exceptionally beautiful evening behind me. Thank you so much for having watched these videos.